and welcome back to AustinTalks, where today we are reviewing Mission Impossible 7, one of the biggest movies of the year, and there is no doubt in my mind that this movie is going to hit hard in the theatres. I mean, it already has, and it is one of the greatest movies of the year, and it's probably one of the best movies in the franchise. And I know it is one of the most popular. Obviously, Mission Impossible is one of the biggest franchises in the world, and obviously a lot of people would want to watch it, and after this they're definitely going to want to go watch part 2. Other than that, let's just get right into it. Now, the first thing is the return of Tom Cruise. Now, it's no secret that I like Tom Cruise movies, obviously. My favourite is obviously Top Gun Maverick, but this film is definitely up there with some of the best. I mean, there aren't many Tom Cruise movies that disappoint, but the way that I feel about him in this movie is really good, and is some and not at all a little bit repetitive, but it is good. But it is also unbeatable. This movie is unbeatable. I mean, a lot of Tom Cruise agent movies are really repetitive, but with Tom Cruise, when he takes full stage with stunts and all that, he really does elevate it and make it different compared to other ones. Because the thing is, spy movies have such a generic storyline, so they have to go undercover and all that, which obviously is seen in this movie, but it's shown a bit differently when you have Tom Cruise on the line. So yeah, that's why I like Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies. Now, the first thing in this movie is the Submarine Explosion. Now, that is not an image that's from Rogue Nation, no, okay. But this scene really messed with me, because I thought it was Ethan on a mission, and I felt really stupid. But to be fair, at that point, I didn't understand what to do or what it was to do with, and how it locked into the entity. I mean, at that time, you didn't know who the entity was or what the entity was. This scene was a good introduction because it shows the capabilities of the entity, and we obviously know from the movie that this does have a lot of has a lot of implications and things you need to remember, because it is heavy information that you need to understand. But that's one reason I actually really like it, and I like how they've integrated AI, which I'll get on to right now. Yeah, I think the idea of integrating an AI interface as the main conflict of a movie is actually amazing, because it actually is keeping with the times of when it is, because AI is obviously taking over at this point, and it does put some perspective in people in the sense that when it is in the wrong hands, it can be a powerful weapon. In a few years' time, AI going to the wrong hands, that is gonna do some damage. I mean, there's no denying that. And I also like the concept of saying that there's a host, a person who is personal to Ethan, and I like how they've chosen Gabriel, someone who's personal and has a vendetta against them. So I thought that was really good, and I also like the scenes where they refer to the entity as a big powerful weapon and being, and it is. I mean, at the beginning, Ethan will defeat it, but the reason I like it how it's a two-parter is it's not the case. That's not what's happened. You are going to lose. But I also like how this film ended with a little foreshadowing for the next movie, which I thought was quite good. Now, the obsession over the key. Now, yes, I do understand that is a key point of the movie. But the obsession is real with this key. Obviously there's two of them, but damn. Usually they say it's about Gabriel and Ethan Hunt, but no, it was about that key. Jumping off stuff, stealing it from people's pockets, people turning on each other. It's just really weird. I mean, guys, it's just a key. I mean, yeah, it's a key to the most important thing in the world, but still, it's a key. I also like the concept where there are two keys to open one lock, and also the key looks quite cool. It does look very different, and it's another reason why I actually do think it's quite cool as well. And also, like, the obsession over the key is one of the the reason why this happens, and that explains the submarine explosion that took place earlier. And also, like, with the key, it lights up. So you know, when some of them when they say, oh, they're gonna do a fake like, 'cause that's a typical spy move. No, they checked if it was real, and they did end up giving it away. So we'll wonder where that goes. Now, the conference scene. Now, with this scene, as much as you sort of already know who that guy is in the white hair, when he joins the meeting, at first you think he's a bad guy, which is obviously quite easy to know. But when they talk about Ethan Hunt, when they start to talk about Ethan Hunt, and then he starts to open his suitcase, that's when he opens his suitcase. I'm like, right, that's him. It's not who he claims to be. And from past history with the franchise, you know there's going to be a masking scene, that you know there always is. Also, the way that this is done is also really cool, with the theme and action conference. It is actually put together. And just to be fair, I have a question: who doesn't like the Mission Impossible music? It really sets the tone for every scene. And the conference room is like when they're talking about confidential stuff and then they're looking down on it, that just adds more tension. Like, oh, what are they gonna plan? And it's really cool. And I do I don't know what his name is, but he was wearing glasses. He was the guy, I think he was like the head of the place, but he was the best. I like him in a lot of stuff, especially Operation Fortune. Absolutely hilarious. Now, return of Luther and Benji. Other than Ethan, these two characters are the second best people in the franchise. With Benji's wittiness and Luther's dry humor and smarts, they are definitely the best duo. And also Ethan obviously has to choose a team, and they always choose Benji and Luther. But I also don't think that's because, one, they're experienced with their craft, as one, because they treat them like friends, and which is seen in the key when they're talking about the key system. And also Benji's humor dominates all. Without doubt, Benji is amazing, and he dominates the humor in all in the whole franchise. Never mind just the movie. And Luther, Luther can be sarcastic and sometimes just have really dry humor. But he's also he's like the Obi-Wan of the group. He's really wise, especially when he's talking about going to kill Gabriel, because obviously Gabriel had an impact on Ethan. So I do think he plays a pretty good role in this, I must say. Now, the Abu Dhabi airport. Now, I'm not being biased, but it was cool to see Abu Dhabi finally in an MI movie. It was about time. And I mean, yeah, there was Dubai and Burj Khalifa, but this was too close to home. I am actually so funny. Ha. Also, is something about a spy movie taking place in an airport that builds tension, and that's and this movie backs my point. This whole scene brought tension and everything. Also, I thought it was quite rude how those guys just kept on walking up to people and just trying to take their caps off or their hoods off to see who it is, and basically just violating them. It's just not nice. I know they're trying to get a fugitive, but some people are just trying to get on a flight, man. Yeah, but I also think an airport is a very generic thing, but as much as that's a generic component to a spy movie, it is one of those things that is needed, and it's one of those things that are really good to use. And it's funny as well because I recognise a load of the places because this was filmed in Abu Dhabi Airport, and it's funny to see how the amount of places that I remember. The nuclear bomb's key system. Now, this is true for everyone. Even when you know they are going to pull through, this scene put me on edge. I was like, what's going to happen? Also, that is a cool gadget. And I also love how it links to the entity and how it links to Gabriel. And then Gabriel's smirking in the airport. All of these components are connected. And I like how that's all built in together. The key system concept is actually and it's cool how it knows even if you're trying to lie to it, and it knows, and it is cool, and the whole thing like was like nerve-wracking, and to say the least, and like when it gave you riddles, I could even answer the riddles, which is funny. So yeah. And like even when he's running at this point, you can tell he's panicking, and he knows what like there's something bad's gonna happen. But even though you know they're gonna pull through, again that's a generic. That's in any movie. This scene was one of those that put you on edge like a lot. Now Ethan Hunt's love life, or love interest. Now over the years, Ethan has had more than a few love interests, such as Ilsa. And now Grace, or kind of, and I think from that alien, okay, and I think from that alien, you know what will happen with them. I don't know why alien is, okay, and I think so. From that, you know what will happen to them. Also, this franchise does kind of run off the backstories of his love, with this movie being an example. Yeah, so like So you're like Ethan's Hunt's like missions do kind of revolve around his love interest. I mean, what's it called? Fallout and Rogue Nation kind of did to some extent. I mean, so as much as they're on a mission, he always finds someone else. So yeah, you get my point. And I also like what's her name? What's the girl that plays Grace? She's Peggy Carter in Marvel. I know that. And I like her. I liked her as an actor. She's been in a few other things, and she is a good actor. Yeah, she looks like a different actor in the poster. I don't know why. It looks like one of those characters from Scream. She did, but yeah. As I say, like it does kind of revolve around his love interests. I mean, as much as this is a minor point, you have to understand that this is a key plot point in the most of the movies as well. So yeah. Now Ethan's troubled past. Now, as I say, this franchise bases off Ethan's love interest. Now, this whole rivalry between Ethan and Gabriel is fueled by the fact that Gabriel killed Ethan's first original love interest before he joined the MIB. That's Men in Black, man. The IMF, Impossible Mission Force. Yeah, Impossible Mission Force, I think. That evidence alone stands for my previous point when I say that, like, when they have a troubled past, I also mean how the entity knows his past, meaning his past isn't behind him. In fact, he's about to revisit it, which is actually hinted at quite a few times in this movie, which is another reason why I actually like it, because it's building up to something later on in the movie, and obviously like building foreshadowing or tension just makes you more excited for the new movie, which is another reason I like this movie. It's an amazing movie. Now, the return of Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa. I love how it's just over the writing to the point where I can't read. I have not been fond of her character since the start, but this movie, never mind her ultimate demise, this movie made a big jump from her original character. I do have to say that could be because of her death. Now, Rebecca Ferguson does play good spy characters. I think she's played in a couple of other stuff, but in this she's also good. I do think her death opens doors. I do think they should do a spin-off of like Mission Impossible, of her, like her as a as just like an agent, or her time when I don't know where this was. I have no clue where it was, or like when her time in the desert, or time as an agent before she met Ethan. I think that would be good to see, because Ilsa over the years has become like one of those characters that you you're more curious about, and yeah, she is like one of the second like characters that a lot of people like. The car chase scene. Oh yeah. Now, this sequence was really long-lived, and it shouldn't have lasted as long as it did. but it was a bit comedical. But when they got into that odd-looking yellow Fiat, the best part of this scene was the train scene. You just knew that this was going to, he was going to pull through. But when that train came in, I grabbed a hold of the theatre's chairs because it was tense. Because you don't see him come out, but the impact sound was awful, and it's a steam train as well, so it's probably louder. But yeah, and also this does set character development, but a relationship development, because at this point Grace still does not trust him even. Oh, my yawning! Damn it! Because Grace does not trust him. At this point, which is not seen at the end, when she basically puts her life in his hands. So, and with Ethan Hunt on your side, maybe not the greatest idea, but yeah, I love the fear, because he's literally just trying to yeet, and obviously the hands are tied with the which I thought was funny, because you can only use one hand basically. That's usually the hand you need. Now, the meeting conference scene. Why is the image bigger than the text? Why? This scene was heavy. Now, it was so well done that you could cut the tension with a knife. But in this scene, the conflict, the anger, and the deals that people were making was actually so well put together. But I have one thing to say. How did it take them that long to realise that they were in the core of the entity? It was so easy to spot. You could see the vibrating thing. It's like, you know where we are. We're in the entity. Well, no, really, mate. But yeah, and also, I like how that's good. And also, Vanessa Kirby's, I think it was White Wolf or something. He had a hand in his pocket, because that's where he put the key, and obviously that's how she got the key, gave it to Gabriel, and then, yeah. And also the scene where they said, I know one thing. Two people have the chance to die. I'm like, what? Grace or Ilsa. Now, unfortunately, at that point, you know who's gonna die. Yeah. You know who's gonna die. Which is Ilsa. Yeah. It was teased when that one of them was going to die, and he knew from the get-go who it would be. And the reason is, Ethan has relations with Ilsa, and if they killed her off, it would have a deeper impact on the storyline and the protagonist of the movie, which is Ethan. This did also fuel Ethan's anger towards Gabriel, which all adds up to Gabriel and Ethan's fight at the end, which is a great fight, I can't lie. Like that punch per punch. Yeah, and also, I do think sometimes with Mission Impossible, you do think, are they actually there? Are they actually them? But actually it was. So I'm not glad that she's dead, but she did add this did add an impact to the story, which is actually quite good. But I do think this will come up a lot more in the next, say when there's a conflict in the next movie, he'll like, Elsa died for this or something like that. That'll probably come up a lot, because obviously he as much as he'll act like he's okay, it will still haunt him, which is obviously quite common. Now, Paris and Gabriel dynamic duo. Paris is a very silent yet deadly character, but the way that she is portrayed by Gabriel made me not like Gabriel even more, which I didn't actually think was possible, because Gabriel throughout the movie was not very nice. He's a powerful person, but not very nice. The way that they were were a duo even before that scene was actually cool. I do think she could had a better arc. She you know Asajj Ventress from Clone Wars? She reminds me of her, and he's Count Dooku. He had a better arc in the following movie if they kept her alive, and she could have had joined the IMF. I do think she could have been a good character. I don't know if she actually died, or she was just injured. I think she was injured. I don't think she was dead. I just think she was injured. But they are literally Asajj Ventress and Count Dooku. Mainly because Asajj Ventress didn't talk. And she barely talks in this, she just growls, I swear. Now, the world record rated craziest stunt. I don't think I can get any more words in there, but yeah. This stunt was teased for a long time, but still it made your stomach go. You know when you go on a roller coaster, and like you're harnessed and then you go upside down, but this was awful. But I don't know how Tom does this, because you have to realize with this stunt, if your parachute don't go off, you are done. You are dead. Like, you're risking your life on one parachute. That has a 50-50 chance. I mean, it probably won't. It's like one of those things that's 90 to 10%. I'd rather take the I would rather take the chance of living than it. Yeah, and like I've done a lot of crazy stuff on harnesses. Some that I'll never do again, but it's one reason that I love his acting is because it's just insane. There's no other way to put it. It's insane. I also like how it ties into with the history of the story. Like he's trying to get on the train. Like considering his stunts get worse and worse with each movie, I'm terrified yet excited what's gonna happen next. Next thing you know, he's gonna have a broken limb before long. Oh boy. Yeah. Now Act 3 all took place on a train. That is for sure. It all took place on a train. Now, this is just funny to think about, and I am not exaggerating either. This whole sequence took place on a train. The deals, the whole conflict, and yeah, as much as this sounds boring, the scenes actually still kept the same usual impossible glory like every other movie does. The meetings, the fights, and they all come together in such a way that makes a great sequence. I do think this whole train thing, it could have been better, probably not as great as everything else in the movie. I'm totally not saying that because Abu Dhabi Airport was in it, but I do think this actually played a good point, and I would like it to next movie to take something to happen with a train as a call back to this movie, because I think that would be actually a smart idea. Yes, now, Gabriel and Ethan's fight. Also, Gabriel's not a good fighter, I've noticed that. Considering the history between the two, this was a great duel because it reminded me of, what's his name? Obi-Wan and Anakin. Not like that, but obviously a lot better. Obviously the conversations with Luther and the integration of the entity all form like a jigsaw puzzle that leaded up to this very scene. And also, the best part was when Gabriel left thinking he had the key and didn't. And that, my friend, is what I like to call karma. But yeah, Gabriel was, he's just not a good fighter. Ethan had one punch ready and it went bang. I'm surprised, Ethan didn't belt him one. But, he did, but, didn't actually, kill him. But, and in the end, Gabriel didn't win, but also didn't lose. The fight's not over just yet. Yes, the train collapsing scene. Now, this whole scene put me on edge, but towards the end, it was a case of you knew they were going to get to the end, and also, geometry is one thing that I just don't enjoy, and it's one thing that I see in movies that gives me a headache. But it got so repetitive at one point. It's like, we're gonna go here, we're gonna jump here. You know they were gonna make it. Just do it in 2 jumps, not 3 or 4. But yeah, and the jumping and the acrobats that took place during it does look incredibly hard to do, even with acting. And I probably where those cushions are. I imagine that was like a green screen jumpy pad where if you fell, you're fine. But still, I imagine this was very hard. Also, if this scene was actually done properly. And if Tom fell, which is probably unlikely, but if Tom fell, I'm really blanking on her name, but if Tom fell, she would have literally just been knocked out. And I don't think she would appreciate that. Grace's acceptance, yeah. Her character is weird because she was so against joining them, and now it's become actually she wants to become a part of the IMF. IMF even. Now then she says I accept, and I just find it a bit weird that she goes that, and just a bit confusing because when she was on the train and she was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but from this I do hope she gets a better and smoother character in the more of a character arc. Does it say in the no, still does not say here it is. and I do think that she could have a good say if they do if they don't kill her off in the next movie, I think what would be a good idea is to have a series, because that's how the world works now. Is to have a series of her, just after joining the IMF, which I think would be good, because that's one thing you would like to see. Now, Ethan's final mission. The sequence in which he is gliding down and no one talks is actually shivering, and it is an element that is great at showing that it isn't over, and that stuff was just going to get more intense from here on out. Now, Ethan is the best spy. There is no denying that. There is no other spy like him. He is the best, and I'm sure that he will he'll pull through in the next movie. I no doubt in my mind about that. Now, I would like to talk about this image for a second. This image is is a set photo from it's an image from the next movie. Why is Rebecca Ferguson there? She may do flashbacks or something like that to maybe say if he goes on a hallucinogenic drug, she'll come and pop into his dreams you left me to die or something, probably something like that, but not actually. She can't be alive. Now, what will happen in the next movie? MI8. The great thing about this movie is the great thing about this franchise is that you don't know what is going to happen next. That is very true. You don't know what's going to happen next. And even though this movie is a direct continuation, all I know is that it will be the last one, as of now. We were told that with Fallout. But obviously we've got these two movies, but I do reckon this may be the last one. And if this is the last movie, I know this is bad, it will make sense to kill off Ethan. Maybe still he can be the hero, but it would make sense to kill off Ethan. And whilst I don't want it to be the end, all good things have to come to an end, and all I want to know is what will happen, and I think we can all agree on that principle. We all want to know what's going to happen with Ethan Hunt. Now, yes, okay, I'm sorry, this is a 10 out of 10 movie. I want to go and see it again. I just can't. I don't have money for it. But I want to go and see this again in premium and all that, and IMAX and all that, but I love this movie so much. As I have shown before, I don't give this much out. I don't give these out much, but this movie has no faults. I really try looking for faults, but there isn't any. There are certain things that couldn't be fixed. They can be fixed by a series, or they can easily be fixed in the next movie. But this movie is perfect. But I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. Top Gun is still up there with definitely the best. And before you think I'm gonna say Tom Cruise is in this, it's because of Tom Cruise is in this one. It's just not. I know it sounds biased, but it's just not. And it is a masterpiece. It is just a masterpiece. Also, this sets a high bar for the next movie, so maybe just don't release it in June 2024 now, so because of the strikes and all that, that may be an issue, but just maybe don't. Don't, because obviously they'll try and cram all of it in, and when it's crammed in all together, it comes out bad quality. Time is money. That's that term came into money. The longer the time, the more money you make. Easy as that. Oh, there's no animation? Oh, wait, I didn't see that. Fan theories. In the next movie, if the rumours that this will be the last movie are true, Ethan Hunt will die. Anyway, okay. It would make sense to do that, because then this is the main character, and if he is dead, there is no point in continuing the film series. His death will be honourable, but it would also mean that Gabriel would have to win, which obviously we don't want. Right, okay, there's only one thing I would like to change. Ethan Hunt will probably die. Gabriel will die as well after Ethan. No, before Ethan. I do think that's quite good. There's one way that this next movie could take us. Ethan will become the boss of the IMF. Oh yeah, that's not bad. The new guy is dead, so need a new one, but the real reason this is somewhat a good idea is that it could lead to spin-offs, and I mean, that is the thing nowadays. I like this, the way this guy writes. If he is the boss, then it would have a movie merit better than him being dead. His death has been floating around for a while, so I think his death's going to be integrated somehow. So, his death has been floating around for a while, leading me to believe he probably will die. So yeah, I don't think that Ilsa is really dead. Of course you don't. Sorry, but we know her to be a person who wants stuff and is basically a vigilante, and she could have faked her death and could actually be working with Gabriel. I highly doubt this. While this would impact Ethan, Ilsa hasn't exactly shown the same love interest compared to him, so there is a chance that Gabriel may have promised her something. The reason I asked this, how did Gabriel would go there after Ethan knew the entity is everywhere? Wake up, people! We have a spy under our midst. Okay, I feel like this. I'm not gonna lie. I think these have been written by the same people. Because I like how he says, I mean, that's the thing nowadays, and he's like, wake up, people. And he says which we obviously don't want. I think this may be the same peaceful, but I'm gonna, I actually like if he becomes the boss of MIF, I'd like that, and I don't want his death, but I obviously I think Ilsa is definitely dead. So I'll put that number 3, and I do think these all do have merit, that's for sure. Right, everyone, that'll be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I honestly recommend going to see this movie. It is not a movie you would like to miss. It is an amazing movie. So, everyone, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll have a couple of videos up next week. We've obviously got Ahsoka coming out next week, so, obviously, predictions video incoming. Right, everyone, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!